Hey everyone, welcome to Daily News Analysis for December 31st. Let's look at some of the important news that has the potential to come as a passage in your common law admission test, other law entrance examinations, some information from national and international events that may be useful for your examination. Let's have a look. The first news is regarding what the Chief Justice of India has to say as far as pendency of cases is concerned. So, Chief Justice of India has urged the courts to step up to clear long pending cases by Independence Day. Some cases have been pending even since the 70s, 1970s, and over 63 lakh cases in the country are delayed due to non-availability of counsel. So he has stressed the importance of digitization, how digitization can speed up the process. He says that across the country, almost 14 lakh cases have been delayed as some kind of record or document is being awaited. Across the country, more than 63 lakh cases are considered to be delayed as per the National Judicial Data Grid data due to non-availability of counsel. We really need to support the need of the support of the bar to ensure that our courts are functioning at optimum capacity. So he also talked about the digitization where he said that at multiple stages, whenever an interim order is appealed or an application is filed before the appellate courts, be it High Court or Supreme Court, the record of the district court is called for. This record remains with the appellate court till the file is disposed of. However, with the digitization of records, the record that is received can immediately be scanned and sent back so that the trial does not suffer and there is no delay. So he also underscored the value of the rich jurisprudence developed by our Supreme Court and High Court since independence of our nation to preserve and protect the liberty of each individual. Delhi High Court has come up with very landmark judgments in this year, that is the year of 2022. At the end of the year, let's look at some of the important judgments that came out from Delhi High Court, because it was a year of reforms and positive impact on the lives of the thousands. So the 2022 calendar year saw the Delhi High Court pass a number of notable judgments that not only made positive changes in various institutions such as sports bodies, but also impacted the lives of thousands of underprivileged children who are come under the economically weaker section. As far as sports is concerned, to remove the mismanagement in sports bodies and to democratize these institutions, the Delhi High Court in August introduced a slew of reforms for the Indian Olympic Association, including appointing a three-member committee of administration to take over its affairs. Compliance with the sports code is not negotiable. This was said by Justice Manmohan and Justice Nazmi Waziri, and noting it was high time that structural reforms were implemented to remove the mismanagement in sports bodies and to democratize these institutions. As far as EWS quota is concerned, economically weaker section is concerned, after a flurry of petitions from economically weaker sections students seeking to get into private schools in the country, in the city, the Delhi High Court in December issued a series of reforms to streamline their admission process under the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education (RTE) Act. Justice Chandra Dhari Singh, in an 85-page judgment, said, "It is high time the judiciary reaches the people and not wait for the people to reach out to the judiciary, as poor kids are being forced into the instant set of petitions to knock the doors of the court for availing their fundamental right to education." Then there were also remarkable judgments regarding childbirth, regarding the choice to give birth. So while the right of a woman to terminate her pregnancy has been the subject matter of debate across the world, the Delhi High Court in December reiterated that ultimate decision in such cases ought to recognize the choice of the mother. Justice Pratibha Singh permitted a 26-year-old married woman whose fetus was detected with cerebral abnormalities to terminate her pregnancy at 33 weeks. In India, the latest rules stipulate a ceiling of 24 weeks for termination of pregnancy for special categories of women, which would include survivors of rape, victims of incest, and other vulnerable women like differently abled women, minors, etc. And on marital rape, there was a very important judgment, and the Supreme Court has to look at it. said that in May, two judges of the Delhi High Court gave a split verdict on the question of criminalizing rape within marriage, that is marital rape. Leaving the law unchanged, the law is not changed by this judgment. The marital rape is still not considered an offense. However, Justice Rajiv Shakder, who headed the two judge bench, struck down as unconstitutional the exception to Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code, which says that intercourse by a woman with his wife aged 18 or above is not rape even if it is without her consent. So he has struck this down. However, the issue will now be decided by the Supreme Court. In previous session, we talked about this remote electronic voting machine for to help the migrants to vote from the constituency they are currently residing in. So the political parties are divided in that. As I told you, that Congress opposed the move. There are parties that are in the opposition. There are two types of reactions coming. So Janata Dal United and TDP welcome the Election Commission's initiative. Parties such as DMK and Trinamool Congress are echoing the Congress in opposing the move. Left parties, RJD, BRS, say they will decide their instance after examining the issue in detail. So the thing is that while there are already some doubts regarding EVM, every now and then after every election, we get to hear that EVM was rigged and there were some issues. So many petitions have been made to the Election Commission as well. In such a situation, if they are coming up with a new thing that even the people residing outside the constituency can also vote, so how trustworthy it is, that is the issue. So we are all for it if if prototype will improve the voting percentage. However, the Election Commission still has to settle the doubts in the minds of India's electorate about the EVMs and their sanctity. This was said by TDP's Lok Sabha member Ram Manohar Naidu. The idea sounds good, but when credibility of electronic voting machines are in doubt, how we trust this new thing? Our party has given multiple proofs about the malpractices related to EVMs to the Election Commission. This was said by Rajiv Rai, who is the Samajwadi Party national spokesperson. So all kinds of these reactions are coming. Some are in favor of the move, some are opposing the move. National Commission for Women has issued memo on prevention of sexual harassment, especially in the coaching institutes. So the National Commission for Women has asked the states to ensure that coaching centers and the educational institutes strictly implement the law against sexual harassment at the workplace. Expressing concern over the incidents of sexual harassment at coaching centers, the NCW has written to the Chief Secretariats to direct the authorities to ensure the strict implementation of the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Prevention and Redressal Act 2013, and guidelines established thereunder. The Commission has also asked to direct the authorities to conduct awareness programs on the law among all stakeholders to ensure that the cases of sexual harassment at work are reported responsibly and effectively. With large startup ecosystem, India is a big market for cloud services. Now, please understand that over the past years, the number of registered startups in India has grown from 452 in 2016 to 84,012 in the 2022. So this was according to the figures that was presented in the parliament. While they span across a variety of industries, there are financial tech startups, there are gaming startups, health tech startups, but several are based in the cloud, the servers and data storage accessible via the internet. So Amazon Web Services, AWS, has provided startup credits that allow aspirant startups to use a suite of services from computing, storage, and hosting for free. So they are promoting this thing because India is one of the biggest, uh, largest ecosystem in the world. So promoting this start to encouraging people to start up in the cloud services might really be helpful. So how we design such infrastructure is to locate them in different seismic zones. Every region has the three availability zones. This is so far if this is so that if there ever was a natural calamity, there is always backup storage available. However, the centers are also designed in such a way that they aren't too far and there is minimal latency or lag such that users spread across the country can access their applications seamlessly. The exact location of these zones are not publicly disclosed. That's how the cloud services work. Aung San Suu Kyi, 7 more years have been added. She was already serving a jail term for 26 years. Now, several other allegations have been levied, and now 7 more years have been added. So, new trials add 7 more years to Suu Kyi's jail term. She is a Nobel laureate, Nobel Prize winner of her a decade-long campaign for democracy in Myanmar, and she was very popular. She's Oxford graduated from Oxford, so she has spent already a number of her political years detained under military government. So deposed Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi was convicted of 5 accounts of corruption and jailed for 7 more years. This was informed, wrapping up a marathon of trials condemned internationally as a sham. So the international community saying that all these charges, all these things, it's just a sham by the military regime in the Myanmar to frame Aung San Suu Kyi. However, this is the current scenario. In a closed-door court session in army-ruled Myanmar, Ms. Suu Kyi, who is 77 years of age, who was arrested during a coup in February 2021, was found guilty of offences uh, relating to her lease and use of a helicopter while she was the country's de facto leader, and who has knowledge of her trials, uh, has said that the jail term adds to 26 years of prison time already handed down to Ms. Suu Kyi for offences ranging from incitement, breaches of COVID-19 restrictions, and illegally owning radio equipment to violate state secrets laws, multiple counts of corruptions, and trying to influence election officials. Aung San Suu Kyi says that these are absurd allegations that have been put on her. India and Saudi Arabia will discuss the treaty on mutual assistance for criminal investigation. So they are in talks to sign a mutual legal assistance MLAT, Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, to obtain formal assistance from each other in investigations related to criminal cases. And Saudi Arabia is only among a dozen other countries that does not have either an MLAT or any other bilateral agreement with India to facilitate such investigations. India has so far signed MLATs with 45 countries and also in talks to finalize MLATs with Italy and Germany. And this treaty will help in getting a conviction based on evidence gathered through mutual agreement. So these were some important news for December 31st. As the year ends, we looked at some of the important judgments by the Delhi High Court. We talked about what the Chief Justice has to say regarding the pendency of cases. Then there is a very important news regarding the remote electronic voting machine. Different political parties have different views regarding that. The National Commission of Women is very active regarding the sexual harassment at workplace, specifically targeting coaching centers and educational institutes. There is a large startup ecosystem in India. There is a big market for cloud services. Amazon Web Services assisting that. Uh, then we have this news coming from Myanmar regarding Aung San Suu Kyi. 7 more years have been added to already given 26 years of term. And India and Saudi Arabia will discuss the treaty on mutual assistance for criminal investigation. This is all for right now. See you in the next video with more set of news in the new year with new news. Thank you so much. All the best.